Hello, everyone. This is Jake, your resident content cowboy here. Yeehaw! And I wanted to talk to you today about all of the catch-up mechanics inside Pokemon Unite. I know what you're thinking. Jake, do you mean Ash Ketchum or Ash Ketchup mechanics? No, I don't, friends. I mean the catch-up mechanics inside the game. While Pokemon Unite is only a 10-minute long match, there are multiple moments throughout that game where they give the losing team opportunities to catch up. So I'll speak about some of them specifically and broadly. I'm going to give you my ideas on maybe how they could fix some of these, and also my opinions of the game as a whole with these catch-up mechanics being a part of it. Come along with me on this journey, won't you? First, I guess I should say what a catch-up mechanic is and what a catch-up mechanic is not. So a catch-up mechanic inside the game is something that is put there that gives the losing team the ability to catch up or meet the score or level of the opposing team in a way that is expedited. So a way that you could think about this in an easy way, a very ridiculous catch-up mechanic, is something in Mario Kart like a blue shell. You're in first place. There's not much you can do about this blue shell. It's coming to get you. It is a catch-up mechanic, pure and simple. It is unfair. If you're racing really, really well, you can still win the race, but it is an unfair mechanic designed specifically to let people at the back of the pack, or people who are losing, catch up to someone in first place. In fact, Mario Kart is a great example of how Nintendo does so many catch-up mechanics. If you're in first place in Mario Kart, they're giving you green shells and bananas, and then if you're in second or third, maybe you get some red shells or mushrooms or something like that, and then the further and further you get back, you're getting gold mushrooms and bullet bills and blue shells and lightning bolts and all of the crazy things that make Mario Kart very fun, but also make you go, this is insane, this game is trash, this is horrible, this is useless, I hate what they are doing with Mario Kart. But then when you're losing, hey, it's pretty cool, right? What a catch-up mechanic is not is just the fact that, for instance, inside Pokemon Unite, if you are a lower level than the opposing team and you are taking out wild Pokemon, well, you are getting the same amount of experience. I actually can't fully verify that because you can't verify anything, but you're getting the same amount of experience. However, because your level is lower, it is impacting you to a greater degree. This is also the case for KOing enemy Pokemon. So if you are a level 5, let's just say, and you're able to KO an enemy that is a level 9. This is a Herculean task, but maybe you've been under-leveled the whole game, and that's their jungler, and you get the last hit on them or something. You get a lot more experience than they would if they KO you as that level 5 Pokemon. At least from what I can tell, that seems to be the case. I would not say that is a catch-up mechanic necessarily. It's just a mechanic based on the level of the Pokemon you are KOing. There are different Pokemon throughout the map that give varying levels of experience. For instance, when you lose a goal and your lane now has those 2 or 3 Audinos that spawn there. I guess it's 2 on the bottom, 3 on the top, right? And those Pokemon give more experience than a Corphish or something like that. I wouldn't say it's a catch-up mechanic. I think it's a very specific design inside the game of what happens when you lose a goal. But there's no question losing a top or bottom goal gives you access to this experience pool that is a little better than it was before. In some ways, you could say it's a catch-up mechanic, but in general, I would just say that is the design of the map, and basically the higher level Pokemon you are taking out, the more experience you gain. You are catching up a little bit with that, but the catch-up mechanics I'm going to be talking about are a little more blue shell than this, if that makes sense. The biggest catch-up mechanics in Pokemon Unite are its KO timer, so the time it takes you to respawn, Zapdos, obviously, Dreadnought and how it combos with Zapdos, and then the final moments of the match. So let's just talk briefly about the final moments of the match. All scoring is doubled. This is a huge catch-up mechanic. So you can be beating the enemy team the entire time. However, even without Zapdos, if they manage to have saved all their points and dunk them on your goals, their points are doubled in this moment. So they have the ability to catch up. It's just built into the game. The last 2 minutes has double scoring, so the points that happened before the last 2 minutes matter less. Now, I don't think this is the craziest part of the catch-up mechanic in Pokemon Unite, but it does kind of directly get affected by its biggest catch-up mechanic, which is Zapdos. So Zapdos, obviously, is a complete game changer, and oftentimes, I would say probably, I don't know, 90% of the time, 90, maybe even 95%, probably 99% also in lower ranks, the team that gets Zapdos wins the match. And there are a few reasons for that. One, you can instant dunk on any of their goals once this happens. So not only can you dunk double points, you can dunk it immediately. So people have a really hard time of stopping you. It's a huge blue shell inside of this game. Not only that, you also get points as a team. You get team-wide Eos energy, I should say, when you KO Zapdos. So you all have the ability to not only dunk, but they give you Eos energy to do it. So if you didn't have Eos energy before, now you have a bunch of Eos energy to dunk. So there's that. The other thing Zapdos does is it drops bolts of lightning. It does so many things, you guys. The other thing it does is it drops bolts of lightning on the enemy team, dealing damage and stunning them. Sometimes you're KOing enemies because of it. It's just... it has so many blue shell mechanics inside of it. I understand why people are upset by Zapdos. So Zapdos is the biggest catch-up mechanic inside the game. Another huge catch-up mechanic inside of Pokemon Unite is the Dreadnought Debuff with Zapdos. So I'll first say, I mean, this got discovered and it kind of blew my mind when I found out about it. I don't know how many more things like this are in the game or will be put into the game. One thing this MOBA does that many other MOBAs do not is they are very tight-lipped about everything going on inside the game values-wise. So we don't know HP of Pokemon because they told us. We know HP of Pokemon because people have tested it. I didn't know about the Dreadnought debuff because they told us. I knew about it because someone on my Discord, or maybe it was on stream, mentioned to me, hey, have you heard about this weird Zapdos thing? And then I went and tested it myself to see what was going on with it. So when you KO Dreadnought, any Dreadnought, I've said final Dreadnought, but it's essentially the final Dreadnought of the match. When you KO that Dreadnought, you get a 90-second damage debuff for your entire team to specifically Zapdos damage. So if you take Dreadnought at the 2-minute 30-second mark, for 90 seconds, you will have a damage debuff. Meaning when Zapdos pops up, those 30 seconds that Zapdos wasn't there, that's part of it. And then for another 60 seconds, basically half of the time Zapdos could be available, you have a damage debuff of 55% to that specific Pokemon, to Zapdos, that objective. So that is another huge catch-up mechanic. That's like a invisible blue shell that nobody told us was around. We were just like, wait, what? When I found out about this, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it not only because they don't tell you, and not only because it is it's not like 10% damage. It's a massive damage difference. But it also blew my mind because I immediately went, oh my gosh, all the matches I have lost because I didn't know this was a thing. So it's a bit of a mess, that catch-up mechanic. That catch-up mechanic is the biggest mess, in my opinion, because they don't tell people about it. So people on your team are thinking they're doing the right thing by trying to secure that Dreadnought, and they're actually putting you in a really tough position for that final fight. Let me now talk about the respawn timers. So I didn't know the exact numbers on the respawn timer. People would ask me about it, and I would just say I think it's based on level, right? That's just what I thought. I did not look into it at all, but people would ask me, what's the deal with respawn timers? They're really intense later in the match. Early in the match, you get KO'd and you're back in 2 seconds or something like that. But later in the match, you get these long respawn timers, and I did not know the exact mechanics behind it, but I just noticed, yeah, when I'm level 14, 15, and I'm fighting around Zapdos or something like that, and I get KO'd, I am down for a long time. There actually is a formula that someone on Reddit figured out to give you an idea of how long your respawn timer will be. Let me pull that up for you. Again, this is from the Pokemon Unite subreddit, and Zephyr54 posted this a couple weeks ago. Thank you, Zephyr. Thank you to everyone who tries to figure stuff like this out. I really love that there's such an excited community around this game to do stuff like this, but I do think the game should just tell you this. So here we go. After a lot of testing in practice mode, watching a lot of matches, I found what factors could influence the death respawn timer. For clarity's sake, I will talk about death when a player is killed, when killed by a player, and execution when killed by an NPC. A kill done by the player, assists aren't relevant. So with all of this, the death respawn timer equals, can you believe this, by the way, that someone's out here doing this incredible math? I thought I was the one just giving math lessons on my Road to Masters video. L plus K plus P over 40 plus T. Okay. D. Can you believe this? Can you believe that this is how we have to figure things out in this game? It's so silly, you guys. Death is the respawn timer. L is the duration of the Pokemon. Oh, sorry. L is a duration depending on Pokemon level, which I figured had something to do with it. K is the number of kills since last death. I didn't know that would be a factor. P is the sum of points scored since last death. 40 points equals an additional second. T is a duration depending on the time remaining in the game. Always 0 in practice mode. So you see, based on your level, your respawn timer goes up by all of these seconds. So I was right that when I was a very high level, like 14 or 15, it would be higher. I didn't realize all of the other factors, like a ton of KOs. So there have been times now that I know this, and I've seen this, and I don't have the exact math in my head for any of this, but now that I've seen this and I watch myself get KO'd near the end of a match and I see this massive death timer, I just think, no, I knew this was coming. I didn't get KO'd all game, and I've been carrying super hard. Regarding potential limits on K and P, I've currently tested it with 42 kills, 699 points. Aside from some strange exceptions like a kill being displayed for the wrong player, I was able to verify this formula for a few games I watched. I still need to do further testing, but basically the long and short of it, and the middle of it, and even on the sides of it, to be fair, all of this to say, the better you are doing in a match, the longer your respawn timer will be. So I saw someone in the comments say this as I was looking at this earlier, and it's like not even that crazy of an idea. Scorpio, hey, Scorpios unite, baby. Scorpio 11777. So basically, make sure to die once before the 2-minute 30-second mark if you have huge kill counts. And then this Amocalypse says, it's so incredibly stupid that this may actually be a legit strategy. If you can make the enemy commit their ult in order to kill you, it's probably even a great strategy. And the crazy thing is, that's kind of true. That's kind of true. If you can get them to burn their Unite moves on you at around the 2-minute 30-second mark and KO you, you just have such a better chance of winning the Zapdos fight if you need to be KO'd and you need to respawn. Now, in general, my thoughts on this are, I think it should just be based on player level, probably. But it's just another Ketchup mechanic. This is another sort of hidden Ketchup mechanic. It's like a hidden blue shell inside this game. So those are all the big moments that I would say exist inside Pokemon Unite. You've got the Dreadnought debuff. You've got the fact that if you KO people that are higher level than you, you get something for it. But that makes sense to me. That's in all MOBAs. You've got the longer respawn timers, which are in all MOBAs, but I really do think they're almost all just based on player level. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're actually more complex algorithms based around those. And then, of course, you have the snitch. Is the snitch? Is that what it's called in Quidditch? You've got Zapdos. Hold on. What's it called in Quidditch? I don't watch enough Harry Potter. Snitch, Harry Potter. It's got to be what it is, right? Yeah, it's the snitch. I knew it. The golden snitch. Zapdos is like the golden snitch inside of Pokemon Unite. So, okay. First of all, let me just give my opinions on all of this in general. My big thought is I actually like some catch-up mechanics inside this game. First, because a lot of newer MOBA players need a little bit of a carrot to continue wanting to learn how to be good at this game. And I also do want to play a game where a team that is behind can come back. I want that. I think it's more extreme than it needs to be right now, but I actually do think it is positive that the team that's behind has some chances of making their way back into the game. I think that's really, really good. And I don't like that so many matches can be decided by Zapdos, but I also have to say, when you know what the win condition is, you should do everything in your power to play the best at that moment. I think what a lot of people unfortunately run into is maybe your team doesn't have that in mind. They don't group up. They're split pushing around Zapdos, and then the enemy team takes it, and you were winning all game and you lose. That's really unfortunate, and people are going to have to start to understand how to play the game better. But at the same time, I do kind of want the team who plays the most important objective poorly to have a chance at losing. I think the big problem is it's not often a chance at losing. If you lose Zapdos, you most often will lose. So, how would I fix some of this? Well, the Dreadnought debuff is interesting. I think if it exists, you just need to tell people about it. You can probably also reduce it a bit. Maybe there's a damage debuff, but probably not as intense, because then that would give, I don't know, some more consideration for how to play that moment. Not telling people about it, I think that's pretty crazy. The respawn timers, I don't entirely hate, but I think it maybe should just be based more on player level than how many kills you got and points you scored since last KO. That's bizarre, because now you do put people in this weird position where they're going, well, maybe I push like hard at one of their goals at the 3-minute mark. I just push hard at one of the top or bottom goals. Hopefully they spam some Unite moves on me. Maybe I score, maybe I don't, but either way I'm getting KO'd. It's weird to have a consideration like that inside the game. So I think it should probably just be based on player level, and then we can get rid of any of that sort of like big brain strategy where they're going to do something like that. Now Zapdos is probably the most controversial part of Pokemon Unite, and I've given a lot of suggestions of possibly how to fix Zapdos. I really hope what they're gonna do is have different final objectives throughout the seasons of this game. We're gonna see different updates. This game is extremely new, and it hasn't even released on its biggest platform yet, which is going to be mobile. So I don't think they're going to change anything right now before it comes out on mobile, but I'm excited to see different objectives to fight over, and I'm also excited to see maybe some tweaks to Zapdos. One of the biggest tweaks that I think almost fixes Zapdos, I don't remember who said this, so this was someone else's idea that I had heard, but it might have been Crashy, another Pokemon Unite YouTuber. The idea that it's just not instant dunks anymore. So there is counterplay to it. They can score Zapdos, and maybe the dunks are faster. What I mean is scoring. Maybe scoring is faster, but it might not be the instant you just tap X and if you get there, you score. Maybe that fixes it a little bit, because as someone who often plays Cramorant, I can tell you Cramorant has a tough time getting to some of those goals, and if the enemy team knows that, they can focus me down. If you're Crustle, you're going to make it to the goal. Nobody can stop you. But if there are a few Pokemon that have a harder time making it to the goal, Alolan Ninetales, Cramorant, someone like this, and they also can't instant score, that might fix a lot of Zapdos right there. A few other options to fix Zapdos is to change the amount of points that are scored at the end of the game. Maybe it's 1.5 times as many points instead of double points. Some people have come up with ideas that Zapdos has 2 health bars, and whichever team takes their health bar first. I think all of these would be fun things to try, but the environment of MOBAs, the way they've been set up for the longest time, this doesn't mean it's right. It's just kind of how MOBAs are, and it's also how this game is. Last hitting is what's most important. If you had the 2 health bars, you could never steal or snipe Zapdos, and I know some people don't want the ability to do that, but I actually think it is a good mechanic in some ways to have the ability to steal it. I just think maybe it shouldn't be so game breaking that you can be winning the entire time, and then 5 people on the enemy team are all able to dunk 5. If everyone dunks, everyone scores. That's 500 points. That's such a huge shift. Maybe if it was 1.5 times, and I can't even do the math in my head. I don't know. What's 75 times 5? I was supposed to be I was supposed to be really, really good at all this. What's that? 375 or something like that? I don't know. I can't do it in my head. I'm supposed to have a math channel. So maybe something like that would really help the fight at Zapdos. That might be enough to say, yeah, they got it, but that's still not enough points to always win the match. So my overall thoughts on the Ketchup mechanics inside Unite are, I do want some mechanics where the team that's behind has a chance to catch up, because otherwise we're just going to see 5-minute surrenders in every single match. It's going to be so boring. Everyone's going to be griefing and spamming, like, keep the pressure on, I need support, keep the pressure, whatever they're going to be saying. You're going to just see so many surrender votes. So I do want a catch-up mechanic. I do think, like everything in Unite, it should be more clear exactly what's going on. And I would like to see them vary it up a little bit. Maybe try a few things to make it so that Zapdos isn't almost an instant win in a lot of matches. But let me know what you think in the comments. Those are all the catch-up mechanics I can think of. I'm sure there's something I'm not thinking of. So thank you all for watching. Thank you for listening. I love you very much. And hey, if it happens, if you're going, on one of those little paddle boats and you need a second person to pop in, if I'm around, I'll pop in that paddle boat with you. I'll row with you in one of those swan boats. What am I talking about? Goodbye.